Hi, I'm Jennifer Hudson. I'm a hand-cut paper artist, and I'm a resident artist here at Peninsula Gallery. I had known about paper cutting a little bit. I didn't know the full breadth of the medium until I got into it and how big the paper cutting world is, but I knew a little bit about it when I was learning art when I was in school. And I had started as a painter because it was the first medium that I had really honed down and really got a technical education in painting. And after I hit a wall with painting, I just wanted to explore something that was completely different. And I had purchased these really high quality papers that I was intending to paint with, and they were so beautiful on their own. I was so afraid that I was going to ruin them by layering anything on top. It's like, okay, well, I have an X-acto knife and I have a self-healing mat. Let's do something small and see if I can just finish one piece. And I just set myself the challenge of making one piece and finishing it. And I was like, if it's bad, I'll never show it to anybody. And I just fell in love with it. It's just such a completely different way of thinking, and it completely jump-started my creativity again and made me want to make things again. My style is very whimsical and very illustrative. I'm a wildlife artist, so all of my subjects depict wildlife that is native to where I live in Maryland. I aim with my work to capture the spirit and the personality of the animals I portray, so it's not strictly photorealism, but it's not abstract or impressionistic either. I am disabled, so for a large chunk of my time, I'm at home in my studio because leaving is not always possible for me. So when I'm viewing the outside world, I'm viewing it through a window most of the time. So I wanted to capture what I see the way that I see it, but in a very artistic and stylized manner. I've always been an animal lover. I've always been very drawn to all different sorts of creatures. I'm very drawn to canines, so foxes and wolves. I'm a dog person, so I love the foxes especially because they remind me of my Jack Russell. They hop like he does, so I feel like I can really capture that kind of playful movement. But I also love birds. I love the fluidity of birds, and I love the idea of how free-spirited they are and how they can just fly and go wherever they want. Again, as a disabled person, I would love that kind of freedom, so I feel like I'm really drawn to them as a subject matter. Just kind of that idea of a free spirit. Every piece is its own engineering challenge. So before I do a piece, especially if it's a very complicated, very layered piece, I start with a paper mock-up. It's similar to the process that you would do if you were dressmaking, where I use a thinner, more inexpensive paper on a smaller scale to see if what I'm attempting to do is going to layer the right way. And I'll do a very basic setup to just make sure that everything's going to work the way that I want it to. From there, I design out what the actual piece is going to be. I draw out the full scene. And all of my overlay pieces, which are the pieces that are the border around my subjects, all of those are cut by freehand. I really draw out my patterns before I cut them because I like the spontaneity of creating on the spot and the fluidity that comes with that. So while the image plane, the subject matter is drawn out beforehand, all of the little cut details are all free-handed on the spot. I get an idea, but then I have to think about how to actually bring that idea into the physical world. And with paper challenges that, especially in layered paper cuts, when you cut the weight out of paper, it starts to behave like fabric. So when you're layering paper together and you're intending it to lay horizontally on the wall or vertically on the wall, You have to make sure that you're combating any sort of warping that may happen. So I have to use a lot of supports in my work so that the paper itself doesn't warp when it's in the frame. So I get an idea and then I have to figure out exactly how they're going to layer, how I want to cut it so that it's legible, what colors I want to use that still allow it to read. Because not every paper is going to layer the same way. You might layer a color together that makes the subject matter true to the color that it is in real life, but it just doesn't read in the medium. So I have to play around and make sure that I'm capturing what I want to capture, but that it's still easy to read.